Hello. Today we are playing a game called Midnight Evil. And I'm sure a lot of you know what this game is. This was a big game around 6 years ago, I would say, 5-6 years ago. But I'm still yet to play it. So for those of you who don't know what it is, we're going to find out together. Well, not together because I already know what it is. But I'm going to play it for you to find out. Let's play. As the clock approached midnight, William Crinkle was fast asleep. Or Grinkle. I don't know. There he is, fast asleep, relaxed. Tonight was different though. Oh, why was tonight different is the question. He woke up to a strange sound coming from the attic. At least it's not the basement. I'd much rather go in the attic than I would the basement, to be honest. What is that? Is that a picture? Is that a picture or a box? I actually can't tell. As he climbed the stairs, he felt something. A red box. He felt the red box. He had never seen this chest before. Oh, see, this is when you don't open it. It had a book by the looks of it. Just an innocent book. Tonight, his life would change forever. Dun dun dun. Here we are. This is my room. Very cool room. Long before the first humans stood upright and took their place in the world, there was a beautiful land that was ruled by what many would come to call the Fae. There you go. These ancient beings were worshipped by mankind, but they were also feared. Humans were right to be afraid, for there were many different creatures that lived in the darkness, watching us, waiting. God, I'm such a good reader. Most were harmless enough, amusing themselves by causing mischief and playing pranks on humans that crossed their paths. However, some had more sinister intentions. The Urkling, for example, some had more sinister intentions. The Urkling, for example, have developed a liking for the taste of human children. These monsters are small, unnaturally fast, and impossible to kill. It was an unlucky tragedy for many people that we decided... What is it? Oh god damn, I'm under pressure is what it is. It was an unlucky tragedy for many people that we decided to build our village here, right in the middle of the Urkling's territory. We have lost so many of our children over this past year. There aren't enough tears in this world to weep for their loss. Ace, the first page. Thankfully though, my grandmother taught me well in the ways of my druid ancestors. I may not be able to kill the little beasts, but I was able to work out a spell that binds them to this book. And bind them to my house, apparently. I can only hide it and pray that it never falls into the hands of a child. This is when we should put the book away. If you are reading this, know that I'm truly sorry for the demons that have now been passed on to you. Opening the book will have awakened them, and I'm sure they will be ravenously hungry. My god, I almost messed that word up. So, by reading this book, there's demons in my house. Toastbusters and saws. Awesome. Once the book is opened, you must read it out loud from beginning to end in order to return them to their magical prison. Be watchful. My god, they're growling at me now. Be watchful. They only attack if you don't see them coming. Most importantly, once you finish this book, keep it hidden so that no one ever opens it again. Okay. Most importantly, once you finish this book, keep it hidden so that no one ever opens it again.
WIGS-FM 98.7 Game Talk.
Yeah, man.
Hello, darkness. My name is Nick Gloom. It's just me tonight.
Bloom.
As you guys know, we answer game questions and talk tips and tricks.
Awesome.
Well, Nate usually does.
How do you summon
I don't
Hero
really
Brain in
play
Minecraft?
most of those games. Anyway, let's get to the phones. First caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Nick. I'm wondering, how do I beat the final boss in Terminator Destruction?
Amateur.
How would I know that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm stuck here working for crap money. I still can't afford to buy new Atari games. Would you like me to page Nate?
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing. Like I said, I'm
What
working
is
here.
this?
I don't usually come on the radio, so I don't have as much of a bedside manner as Nate does. But it's totally fine. I bought a new OBasic book, which is the programming language for Atari, since I can't afford to buy my own Atari games, and I'm working on my own homebrew game. The pending title is Evil Midnight, where I'm not sure what you're going to have to do yet, but I think it's going to be a horror game, and it's going to be at nighttime, and it's going to be evil. Basically, you would do something all night, and then you would win. It's
Like
kind
read
of
a
like
book.
working here. I try to keep my head down all night, but Janet asks me to go on the air, and I'm always getting asked to do stuff. The more stuff I get asked to do, the more I get anxious and panic. It's a vicious cycle.
Is this some kind of life lesson? I just want to play Terminator.
Here's the thing.
Oh god, I was about to let out a yawn. Alright, back to reading our book, I guess. Chapter 1. Little Maggie O'Brien was the first. The children had been playing in Hogan's Forest when they all heard a noise. Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children on all Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children in all decided to investigate the source of the strange sound. I almost stopped there after investigate. After they all searched high and low, they soon realized that Maggie was missing. Frantically... Oh my god. Get away from my window, you creep! Frantically, they began searching for their friend. She was a small girl who loved to play hide and seek. Her big brother Colin... She was a small girl who loved to play hide and seek. Her big brother Colin insisted that she was probably hiding somewhere safe and giggling to herself as she watched everyone search for her. Oh my god, that was lucky. The sun sank low in the sky and the forest grew dark. The children, frustrated and panicked, ran back to the village to alert their parents that little Maggie was nowhere to be found. That's when everyone lit torches and spread out through the woods calling her name. Maggie, Maggie. This little girl's mother sobbed desperately as we all inspected every corner of those woods in hopes of finding her. Her brother kept searching, tears screaming down his cheek. That was lucky because I read it wrong. I'm her big brother, he said, rubbing his eyes. I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. It's not your fault, Col. I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. Oh my god. I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. It's not your fault, Colin, I assured him. We'll find her soon. Oh my god, now he's in my room. Jesus Christ, I thought he'd be at the window. We'll find her soon, and she'll be no worse for the wear. He nodded, forced a smile, and we all continued looking. The moment I heard him scream, I knew he had found her. Or rather, what was left of her. Oh my god, I thought that was the end of the sentence. Or rather, what was left of her. Which was Oh god, that just got counted, okay. We were sure it was Maggie, because she had worn her favourite hair bow that day. Her father plucked out the pink ribbon from the body, and fell to his knees, wailing into the darkness. Poor Colin tried to tell us then. He said that she had been covered in what he described as little green men. I know these men! Oh my god. I know these men. They were fat and green, he stammered, with bright glowing eyes They were biting off bits of her skin and flesh. No one believed the lad. We all attributed the horrible ordeal to a hungry wild animal. Of course, what else could it possibly be? I thought I heard him. Scooping up what remained of little Maggie, the townsfolk set to work preparing for her funeral. We had no idea the horrors that lay ahead. I thought to myself, how strange her wounds looked. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of stories. That didn't count. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said. Fucking hell. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. Do I need to do an American accent? I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. I couldn't help. Was that too loud? I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. What the fuck? Is that not a sentence? Is that not a period? I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of stories my grandmother used to tell me. I fucked that up, I know I did. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think back to the stories my grandmother would told me to fuck. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of stories. Oh my god, I can't read. The annoying thing is, I need to... Oh my god. I thought to myself, how strange her wounds would look. So I was... What? Thought I already read that part down there, I apologise. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think... Was that not a noise? It made me think of the stories my grandmother used to tell me. She said that was our druid ancestors spoke of tiny little creatures that lived long ago in the swamps of marshes... Oh my god, this is going to be... She said that our druid ancestors spoke of tiny creatures that lived long ago in the swamps and marshes surrounding our lands. The Urklings, she called them. There were 3 tribes, each being their own breed of evil. One tribe I recall... Wow, that scared me, that was loud. Why is this beeping? I thought... What? One tribe, I recall, she said were green and fat. They would lure children away from safety and feast on their flesh. I didn't even get it. I tried to get it out quickly. I think I looked away too fast. They would lure children away from safety and feast on their flesh. Just like what happened to little Maggie. I think that was her name. We didn't live near any swamps. Surely the boy's mind was playing tricks on him. Besides, the Urklings weren't real. They couldn't be. They couldn't be. They couldn't be. Jesus Christ. Did I turn that on? What happened there? Oh, no radio tonight? Just... Okay. Chapter 2. Maggie O'Brien's funeral was just what anyone would expect. Everyone did their best. Okay, so they're going to new places now. I see. Everyone did their best to comfort the grieving parents. Colin kept to himself. Colin kept to himself. Colin kept to himself. Everyone assumed it was because he blamed himself. After his sister had been laid to rest, I came to him to ask him how he was doing. He looked up at me, eyes red from either crying, lack of sleep, or a combination of the two, and I said, I really saw them, the little green men. He looked up at me, eyes red from either crying, lack of sleep, or a combination of the two, and said, I really saw them, the little green monsters. My heart ached as I put my arms around the boy. I kept telling myself that seeing his little sister in pieces couldn't have been easy for him. He was just in shock. What? See, how do I hear noises but they're not here? He was just in shock. The stories... My god, why was that one so loud? The stories of the Earthlings were only told to scare children into doing what they were told, that was all. God, I read that so terribly wrong. The first thing my grandmother told me about the Earthlings was that they were 3 tribes. The green ones had round bellies and piercing blue eyes, which are the ones we are currently being hunted by. She said they could be heard if you walked deep into the swamp at night. They would laugh and sing as they danced around their tiny campfires, which would appear only as tiny flickering lights through the trees. See, he's discovering new spots. They were the least lethal of the 3 tribes, but every bit as evil. The red ones were more temperamental and even faster than their green cousins. Interesting. They didn't sing or dance around campfires, and their celebrations were a bit more gruesome. They preferred to eat children from the inside out. They didn't sing or dance around campfires, and their celebrations were a bit more gruesome. They prefer to eat children from the inside out. It was even thought by some that they were only red because they were stained by the blood of their victims. Fiery red. Oh my god. I saw his whole, body. Fiery red bristle-like hairs sprouted from the tops of their heads, and their glowing yellow eyes seemed cold and calculating. The pale Earthlings were in another class altogether. They had white... I messed that up anyway, but nothing happened. They had white skin and wild, untamed blue hair that flowed out of every direction. I did mess that up, but I guess that's okay. The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they somehow were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3. Oh god, I need to read that again. The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all. Why? I thought that was a sentence. The most unsettling thing about them is that they had... Why do I keep saying that? The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they somehow were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3. Am I missing something? The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they were somehow... The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they somehow were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3. The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet somehow they were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3. Grandmother said that their long wiry hair could somehow sense the presence and locations of children. I see you down there. Relax, none of this breathing. There were some things that all 3 tribes had in common. Earthlings preferred to eat after midnight and would only attack if the children didn't make direct eye contact with them. Like that. Direct, and he just shrunk. I reassured myself that the O'Brien... Oh my god. I reassured myself that the O'Brien girl being attacked barely after the sunset meant that she would have had to been the victim of a wild animal attack. A few of the men in the village came together to hunt down the beast that killed the girl. They came back 2 days later, carrying the carcass of a large wolf. The whole village breathed a sigh of relief, and a big celebration was held. Why? The girl is still dead, no matter what killed her. The only one besides myself that remained anxious was Colin, the big brother. Looking at his face that night, I knew that he believed the creatures that killed Maggie were still out there, waiting. He was right. Dun dun to the dun. More radio. Let me take a drink.
WIGS FM 98.7 Game Talk.
Hello, darkness.
Hello.
Welcome to the top of the hour. Again, I'm your host, Nick Gloom, filling in for Nate tonight. That was an interesting hour, I must say. I don't know, Janet, I feel like these kids don't like me. Hey, Janet, do you like me? And she's walking away, folks. Anyway, caller, you're on the air.
Hey Nick, just calling in, wanted to say that you suck.
I just had a feeling that that was coming. I feel like I'm not as approachable as Nate is. Oh yeah, so anyway, I forgot there's a sponsor slot I was supposed to fill last hour. This one goes out to all you greasy, pizza-faced listeners.
Not me.
Are you tired of popping pimples?
Ew, gross.
Do some zits appear over and over and you have to keep popping them?
Gross.
Kind of like that popular video game, Mole Whacker? From the creators of Simple Pimple comes the revolutionary cream, Pimple Buster. The all-in-one, scientifically formulated pimple-destroying cream. Call 155-PIM-PLES.
I want to be in the radio.
But hurry before supplies run out. That's 155-PIMPLES. You know, Janet, I think Evil Midnight could use some Mole Whacker inspiration. Something to keep the player on their toes. Or at least that last prank caller could drink some of that Pimple Buster.
Oh my.
I don't know what it is.
What's the point in the radio? Is it trying to say a message that I'm not understanding? Chapter 3. The next day, Maggie's mother visited her daughter's grave, discovering something that was more than a little strange. I genuinely thought someone was knocking on the door. The earth on the grave was disturbed, as if something had crawled its way out. This will be the things that eat from the inside out. Are we going to see the red ones on this chapter? Let's find out. I couldn't help but remember what grandmother had said about the red Urklings. There he is! That one looked weird as... Oh my god, there's two! Oh my... Wow, I just started to sweat and go cold at the same time. They would burrow inside their victims and eat their way out. Now I'm just cautious to even read. Could it be that we brought a whole tribe of them right into the village without even knowing it? The answer would come soon enough. I know a noise will probably play and that's when I look around, but I still just want to look. Jacob McLaren was found torn to shreds in his bed the following morning. Jacob McLaren was found torn to shreds in his bed the following morning. Oh, okay, so I think when it goes red like that, like my heart rate's picking up because of what the story's saying. Talking about someone freaking mutilated in their bed. Obviously, a wild animal hadn't attacked him inside his house. Another devastated family and another funeral this soon after Maggie didn't sit well with anyone. The atmosphere became even more tense and uncomfortable. I insisted on inspecting Jacob's remains myself, just to reassure myself that there was nothing hiding inside. Colin approached me afterwards, asking what I was looking for. I told him it was nothing, but he knew better. Oh my god. So it looks like they come 3 at a time, 4 at a time. Or just, okay, just a lot of them. I tried to get that out as quick as possible and I didn't even. I told him it was nothing, but he knew better. You believe me about the monsters, don't you? His young face was determined as he spoke. You're the only one that doesn't look at me like I'm crazy. I swallowed hard. Why did I do that? Now I need to restart. I swallowed hard, started to deny it. Oh, we get the green ones too? Oh my god, now we've got both to look out for. But the words caught in my throat. As much as I tried, I couldn't lie. I thought I heard a noise there. Listen, I put my hand on his shoulders. I don't think you're crazy, but we need to be sure of what we're dealing with before we spark a full-blown panic. Tell me exactly what happened. I should have just looked. Oh my god, I start from the start of chapter 3. Holy ball sacks. Jacob McLaren was found torn to shreds in his bed the following morning. Oh my god! What was that? What was that? Tell me exactly what happened. I saw a green light come on. I thought that was him. Colin took a deep breath, working up his nerve. It was so dark, but I had a good torch. I called her name over and over. She didn't answer. Then, I heard something. It sounded like chewing. I took a few more steps and saw her laying there. All over her were these fat little green monsters. They had mouthfuls of pointy teeth that looked like needles and massive clawed hands. Just then, a twig snapped under my foot and they all stopped what they were doing and looked right at me. Everyone relax. Everyone calm down. We're almost at the end of the chapter. I don't want to read it again. That's when I screamed and they scattered. Alright, great. So now, next time I see them, just scream and they'll scatter. They were gone before any of the grown-ups got to me. His eyes filled with tears at the memory. Please tell me what they are. Damn you! He was no more than 11 or 12, having just lost his sister and now his friend. No one had believed him when he tried to tell us before. It couldn't have been easy, but he opened up to me. I felt like it only right that I tell him what I knew. By the way, I'm only reading it in like small sections because that's how it's written. We sat together by the bonfire late into the night and I told him all the old stories. I'm just being super cautious because I don't want to restart a whole chapter again. Unfortunately, the one thing that my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. The most useless stories then. Looking into the flames, I got an idea. I knew that most unholy creatures were repelled by fire. Is that true? Like who? Well, Colin folded his arms. We will just have to... I got rid of him instantly. We will just have to test what happens to an Urkling when it's on fire. Such a good idea. They're everywhere. They're everywhere! Oh my god! They're everywhere! I won't... Oh, where are they? Oh my god, I thought I died. A lava lamp. My god, that was intense. Oh, straight back into okay. Now that I know if I mess up on the mess up on the game and they kill me, what was that? Did something appear there, or is that my brain? Then I have to restart the entire chapter, which is unfortunate. Chapter 4. Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Urklings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. If anyone knew that my grandmother had passed down her druidic teachings, it would only take one person to scream witch, and I would be as good as dead. I've never heard the word druidic before. Druidic. He agreed and kept my secret. I mixed a potion that would catch fire when touched by the tiniest flame. You're not sly. You are not sly. I heard the door creak. Surely this would send it screaming to the underworld. Yeah. He sat quietly in his bed and waited. I thought I heard scratching. He sat quietly in his bed and waited, knowing he mustn't look them in the eye. What? Isn't that what... Isn't that what you're supposed to do? There's so many. Knowing he mustn't look them in the eye. I thought you were supposed to look them in the eye. He must let it attack, for this would be the only way to get close to it. Right, now I'm caught back up on the lore now. He's trying to get it to attack so he can light it on fire. Just after the stroke of midnight, he began to hear them chuckling and shuffling around in the dark. I really messed that up, by the way, the word shuffling. Clutching the potion bottle, hands trembling, he lowered his gaze and braced himself. Sure enough, one of them leapt from his bookshelf and sank its teeth into the flesh of his arm. Boy, that's terrifying. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me. He screamed and unstopped the bottle. Unstopped? He screamed and unstopped the bottle, emptying it, the contents over the green Urkling. Oh my god. God, these things are absolutely horrifying, by the way. I'm not even gonna lie. It tore a tiny round chunk from his arm and gulped it down, just as Colin shoved a candle right into its face. It lit up like a torch and made a horrific high-pitched scream as it ran around the room trying to put itself out. The curtains caught fire as 4 more Urklings sprung out from their hiding places. Colin ran out... Oh shit. Colin ran outside, screaming and cradling his blood-soaked arm. How am I sweating and cold at the same time? It's the weirdest thing. His parents soon joined him outside in a panic, trying to figure out what happened. You ain't slick, bud. Just then, a tiny fireball came racing through the doorway, and it zigzagged towards the woods. I grabbed an empty glass jar from my cupboard and ran after it. The jar made a thunk sound as it landed over the flaming Urkling, and the fire quickly went out. To my horror, the thing wasn't dead. It didn't even look like it was dying. Oh, shit. I went too quick. It didn't even look like it was dying. Now it's just playing sound effects rather than showing me them. Hey, that's fine. Stay away. Though blackened from being set ablaze, it was just as spunky as ever. Spunky? I quickly scooped up the jar and screwed the lid on as I made my way back. Some of the villagers were trying to put out the fire inside the house. The others were tending to Colin's arm, telling him that it must have been a rat. Oh my god, I messed that up somehow. Everyone chill. I've never seen a rat quite like this, I shouted and held the jar up high so everyone could see. How small are these things? How have I scooped it up in a jar? The instant they all looked in my direction, their jaws dropped open and Colin's face lit up for the first time since he'd lost his sister. Because I have the proof of the Urklings, that's why. He knew everyone finally saw that he had been telling the truth all along, and they all felt terribly ashamed for not believing him in the first place. In fairness, who would believe him? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, the joy of this small victory was short-lived, for over the next 3 days we tried... Damn. Just in the middle of a sentence, I didn't even finish it. Oh, I did finish it. For over the next 3 days, we tried every method we could think of to kill the little wretch, but no matter what horrific thing we did, it wouldn't die. Wow, lucky that worked. Right, back to the radio.
WIGS-FM 98.7 Game Talk.
Hello, darkness.
Put me on the radio.
I'm your host, Nick Gloom, in for Nate tonight, as we dive deep into Game Talk. Sorry about those technical issues we experienced last hour. I think Janet might have fallen asleep. For those of you that missed it, we were having an interesting discussion about game difficulty and learning curves. You know, Nate likes Dragons and Dungeons, but apparently I'm dumb for thinking it's too difficult.
Dragons and Dungeons.
Apparently, kids can play it. So what do I know? kind of like my work in progress, Evil Midnight, which, as I mentioned earlier, if you weren't around, is going to be more of a horror game. I'm not really sure, but I would imagine in a game like that, confusing the player could be an evil tactic. Something like grooming them up to expect one thing and then yank the rug out, so to speak. Anyway, I'm rambling. Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk.
Is it me? Hello? Nick?
Must have lost him. Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk. Very funny, guys. Caller, you're on Game Talk.
This game just got a whole lot creepier. Am I gonna see the white ones now? I don't want to see the white ones. They sound creepy. No eyes, blue hair. Chapter 5. I don't know how many chapters there are, but I've been recording for almost an hour, so let's just keep going. First, we tried drowning it. We even had the... Okay, straight away. This is gonna be a rough night. We even had the priest bring us holy water when water from the well didn't work. We cut off its head, but as soon as we skipped its neck... I messed that up because I thought I heard noise. We cut off its head, but... Shit. We cut off its head, but as soon as we snipped its neck, the head grew back on a new body, and the body grew a new head. Oh my god. Yeah, they are creepy. Holy balls. Did anyone's... He went away quite quick, but Jesus. Then, we had 2 angry Earthlings in jars. Oh my god, this is going to be such an intense night. Holy. Oh my god. And my heart's beating. Dun, 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 dun. It was immune to every kind of poison that we knew of. It could heal quickly from any cuts it sustained. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up into a matter of a few minutes. I mean, what do you do to something like that? Fire, bro. Fire. That one freaked out when he was on fire. He just didn't die. Because someone threw a jar at his head. By this point, the Earthlings had By this point, the Earthlings had infested every corner of the village. Parents had to stand guard over their sleeping children between the stroke of midnight. Well, I'm lucky that I don't know how that's saved, but yeah. Between the stroke of midnight and the first light of dawn, they became absolutely ravenous. And they're just banging on my walls? What? It appeared that there was nothing else we could do. As much as I hated the thought of disturbing my grandmother, I knew that she was the only one that might be able to give me any insights as to how I could get rid of them. I do keep messing up or like forgetting a word, but the game's giving it to me. I don't know if there's like an easy mode, but I'm probably on it if there is. I asked Colin to meet me in secret at her grave. She's dead? You're gonna ask your dead grandmother if... What? I brought grandmother's old spirit board with me, which had every letter of the alphabet on it. Sounds like an Ouija board. Colin and I placed a small glass cup upside down in the center of the board and waited. The idea was that her spirit would guide the cup to the letters, and in doing so, spell out a message to me. It's like a homemade Ouija board. Grandmother? I spoke aloud. I really need your help. Speak... What? Where? I'm dead. Help. I thought that was him. I thought I heard him. I really need your help. Speak to us. Your magic is the only thing that can save these children. My god, I didn't read that. Your magic is the only thing that can save these children. I don't know what... I know with the red ones, the ones with the red hair or whatever, is that there's there's more than one of them. The green one, there's just one of them. I don't know what the jig is with the yellow, the white one. We waited, but were met with only silence. Please, grandmother. Please, grandmother, I pleaded. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, come on. Here we go! Oh my god. Come on. Yep. Come on, more! I want more! That's what I thought. Why am I not under the blankets? Everyone knows it's safer under the blankets. I don't know what to do. I would do anything to save... Shit. I would do anything to save these children. Anything. Just tell me what... Fuck. Just tell me what to do. Please. See, this is when I would be going into my parents' room. Surely. I begged her to answer me. But the glass didn't move. Oh my god, this is a slow story. But the glass didn't move, and no answer would come from the spirit board that night. As we snuck back to the village, we were greeted with the news of the 3 more deaths. As we snuck back to the village, we were greeted with the news of 3 more deaths. When this guy appeared here, I saw a shadow over here. I thought there was 2 of them. The widow Adams had fallen asleep guarding her 3 little ones. She always worked so hard, toiling in the fields from dawn till dusk, to make sure her family was fed. After she lost her husband to sickness, she was the only caretaker for her children. I'm taking it very careful here, folks. Now they were gone too, and she had truly alone. Beats me that worked. As I lay in my bed crying, I felt responsible for what was happening. I hadn't paid much attention as a child when my grandmother tried to teach me the old ways. See, I'm confused because I feel like the white one should be doing a lot more. Like, harder. If I had been a better student, I could have spread my people... If I had been a better student, I could have spared my people so much misery and death. That was the loudest bang we've had yet. Eventually, I drifted off to sleep. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and told me what I must do if I wanted to get the village of the Earthlings once and for all. Yeah, I missed a whole word. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and I told her what I must do if I wanted to get rid of the village of the Earthlings once and for all. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and told me what I must do if I wanted to rid the village of the Earthlings once and for all. But their imprisonment would come at a terrible price. That white one actually scared me. My candle's going out. No! My candle went out! Oh no, 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 no. This isn't good. This is gonna be bad. It's gonna be a bad night. I'm not excited. Chapter 6. I found myself walking through the dark forest. The damp earth under my bare feet felt cool and mossy. And in the distance, I could hear drums. A bright light was shining through the trees. I continued cautiously, unsure of what to expect when I entered the clearing. They're just toying with me. As I came closer, I could see people dancing around the fire. A beautiful woman stood. Yeah, not my watch. I don't need no candle. A beautiful woman stood with her hands outstretched towards the sky. It took a moment before I recognized her. Grandmother, is that you? See, it is getting harder. It plays a noise over here, but then the thing's actually over here. Hello, dear. I heard your call, but I could not come to you. I had to wait until you fell asleep to bring you here. What is this place? I asked, looking around. Rough, rough night. This is where all of our people go when their time on Earth ends. Can I stay with you? No, my darling. I'm afraid you can't. I could see the sorrow in her eyes as she put a sympathetic hand on my cheek. Oh my god. In fact, if you really mean to imprison all the Earthlings, you will never be allowed to take your place here. Why? If I want to stay there with Grandma, it can't be that bad. My heart sank like a stone. What do you mean? We are in the danger zone. They were literally all here. If you wish to trap them, your immortal soul will be lost forever. Do you understand? Do you understand? I bit my lip as I thought of Maggie, Jacob, and the 3 Adams children. Ooh, White One's getting a bit more active, isn't he? I couldn't even imagine the horror they must have felt during their final moments. Then, I pictured Colin and the other children of the village. I simply couldn't bear to let the Earthlings pick them off one by one. Soon, we would have no children left. I couldn't let that happen, no matter the cost. Tell me what I must do. My grandmother's expression grew dark as she described the ingredients to 2 potions. Then, she explained the details of the spell I would have to perform to scrap them with an accursed helm forever. What happened? What happened? What happened? I know I messed that last part up, but it's alright. As she spoke, I could feel my blood run cold and a horrible chill spread through my entire body. My throat became so dry that I could hardly speak. I can't, I managed to say. No, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. I stumbled backwards, feeling sick to my stomach. You must. If you don't finish every step exactly as I say, the Earthlings will never stop. I fell to my knees and put my hands over my face. Please, there must be another way. Jesus. Either the red one's really fast, or there's like 6 of them. Please, there must be another way. I don't make the rules, my dear. I can only tell you the way things are. I didn't even hear him. My god, no! Oh my god, bro! So do the white ones go quicker? Because I can barely even hear the white ones. I sobbed pitifully, and my grandmother knelt down, putting her arm around me and holding me close. The right thing to do is rarely the easiest. Be strong. I've definitely not made it this far. She whispered as I woke, be strong. So I don't know if I need to look at the white ones quicker than the other ones, but as soon as I opened my eyes, I began to question my dream. Did my grandmother's spirit really visit me, or was it just my anxious mind playing tricks on me? If we got another page, it's like another sentence. In my heart, I knew. I had to cast... Not now, not now, not now, not now. I had to cast this spell. I had to save them. He tried. He tried. The last sentence. What's that? Otori? They want me to play a game? We made it past chapter 6. I died like 2 or 3 times there. Crazy. Anyway. Chapter 7. How many goddamn chapters? I searched Hogan's Forest for the various herbs I would need to brew 2 potions. I'm not messing around this time. I smelt the sweet perfume of the forest air and listened to the songs of the birds and insects of the woods, knowing that it would be the last time I would ever get to enjoy them. That's dark. Once I gathered all my ingredients, I found Colin and told him that I knew how to end the Earthling's reign of darkness, but that I would need his help. See, this is good. We're getting them down in paragraphs rather than sentences. I didn't tell him what was about to happen. I couldn't find the courage. Not to mention, if he knew what I was about to do, he would do everything in his power to stop me. He was a good boy. I never had the privilege of having children of my own, but if I had, I would have wanted them to be just like Colin O'Brien. Brave, honest, and kind. That scared me. See, now we're picking it up. Jeez Louise. Together, we walked into the deepest part of Hogan's Forest. Oh, God. The old stone ruins marked a sacred place where our ancestors used to honor the ancient woodland spirits. 12 large rectangular stones stood in a massive circle. I sat my pack down and opened it up. Tackling. Taking out this very book, I opened it to the first page and laid it in the center of the circle. Next, I took out the 2 potions, one black and one white. Yo, not gonna lie. For a horror game, this story is good as hell. I gave Colin the small bottle that held the black liquid. You will need to drink this. It will protect you. It will protect you. It will protect you. He frowned for a moment as he inspected the murky potion, but obediently pulled the stopper out of the bottle and drank it down. Crazy triple attack there. I saw all of them jump up at once. Ugh, that was awful. I smiled. Well, I don't plan on making you drink it again. It's not the time to make jokes. I took the white potion and drank it, trying not to think about the fact that it was stealing my fate. Surprised that one worked as well. Something doesn't feel right. Colin started wobbling. I'm sorry, my boy, I said sincerely. Truly, I am. Wait, did I kill him too? I thought it was just me. No, we don't even need to sacrifice anyone. What? Sorry about what? His eyes rolled back and he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. When he woke, he found himself bound with rope and blindfolded. What on earth has happened here? What are we doing to poor Colin? The black potion you see had 3 functions. It was infused... I thought I had some. It was infused with herbs that would make him first and foremost irresistible to every Earthling within 100 miles. Why am I doing this to him? Secondly, it contained the binding agent that would ensnare the creatures and keep them forever trapped in a pocket dimension that could only be opened by using this cursed book. And now I've opened it. Wait. I heard noises in the attic and then went up to the attic and opened the book. Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. I probably butchered that word, but I don't even give a damn. It worked. You see, while he was unconscious, I was writing this book. As I pen these final words, I can already see my skin turning white. My hair had mostly fallen out, and long blue hairs growing in. So is she turning into the Earthling? The white one with blue hair? Crazy plot twist. At first, I thought Colin was getting bigger, but I see now that I'm slowly shrinking. My vision is fading. I can hear... Yeah, so she's definitely turning into the white one. I can see... the last sentence. I can hear the others coming. That was a joke. Imagine I died. I thought that was the end of the book. I keep telling Colin not to be afraid, that it will all be over soon. After we eat him, we will all be trapped in this book. His screams will be the last thing I hear. Please forgive me, for I can never forgive myself. I think we finished it. It's daytime. Oh my god, we finished the book. The sun rose, and William Grinkle was safe. There's the sun. Holy shit. He ran to the attic to lock the book up for good. The chest was gone. The chest was gone. So he ran to the yard and buried it. No, bury it somewhere far, far away. Not in your frickin' back garden, you dope. Once done, he turned and saw a page on the ground. Oh no, what's it gonna say? I'll be back. He cautiously approached it. It's gonna have a picture of him or something. That's my guess. The page was empty. That was my second guess. Midnight Evil. Holy shit. That's different to any other game I've played. You know, like horror game wise. Oh, we're not done. Hello, William. We are just getting started. And Colin wrote that. Wow. What is this, a Tory? A Tory. Mole whacker. That was alright. Oh god, this seems like a lot of, like, a handwritten book titled Midnight Evil. It seems very old and its origin is unknown. It's clear that it's emitting some strange dark something. Hello, William. We were just getting started. Appeared on this page and then vanished. Could this be some kind of magical self-written and erasing page? Does this mean the entire book may have erased itself? There's the red one. What was that thing? I saw it once and it was weird. There's the green one. Oh, that's what that was. I thought it was a green light. And there's the white one. So it looks like I've got two that are locked here, because I can't press on these two. Although, I don't care. Well, alright everyone, that was Midnight Evil. I actually really enjoyed that game. It was very different to any other horror game I've played. You know, I don't really enjoy a lot of sit-down horror games where you're just sitting down in one spot and you're just using the mouse to do different activities, that sort of thing. But this one was really enjoyable. I liked the whole idea of that you had to read it. You actually had to read it, and then you had to stop and look around the room. I didn't fully understand what the whole radio thing was, but that's besides the point. Very good game, very old game. I'm surprised it took me this long to play. You know, it seems like one of the games I would have played even before I started YouTube, but nonetheless, I'm out of here. Bye.